Hey guys, Dr. Ryan Trueman here with Choice Health Center. If you're unaware, we're actually a complete concussion management certified clinic, and this is a little diagram that we like to run through with our patients when they initially get a concussion to help explain what a concussion is. So, what a lot of people think a concussion is a rattling of the brain against the skull that causes a brain bruise. This is a little bit outdated, and actually, what it is instead is as we kind of whip the head or take an impact, the brain shifts, and when it shifts, different weights shift at different speeds. And what this can actually do is cause a shearing force and a stretch to the nerve. So if we look down here, this is our typical nerve cell. A signal comes in, these channels open, stuff outside the cell comes in, stuff inside the cell goes out, and more signals get fired off. What happens is when we shear this nerve, basically everything that's outside the cell starts rushing in at a much quicker pace, and we start firing off signals a lot more aggressively and sporadically. So this is a nice little diagram. If you look up here, this is kind of that initial impact where everything's rushing into the cell. So this is kind of if you've ever seen someone get hit and they do that wobbly routine for about 5 seconds and they feel a little better. This is kind of that initial excitatory phase. What we go through afterwards is a depression, an energy depression, where we basically have to use all of the energy we have left to try to push this stuff that's outside the cell or inside the cell back outside the cell. So this usually peaks around day 3 to 5, so we're a little bit more irritable, fatigue around those days. And then we slowly ramp our way back up to full recovery. So to recover from this full energy deficit that you go through with a concussion usually takes around 22 to 30 days. If you wait that full 22 to 30 days, the concussion is perfectly fine. If I get another impact over here, it doesn't have any bearing that I had one before as long as I recovered fully. The problem is that symptoms usually go away around day 3 to 7. And so when symptoms are going away, people are a lot more likely to return back to sport. But what's problematic is that we have this whole area here where we haven't fully recovered, where people can take a second impact. And so if we look at this little blue X here, this is kind of a second impact before the person's recovered. So if you notice here, they're symptom-free. They probably feel good to go back to sport. If they take another impact here, now instead of taking that 22 to 30 days, we can look at, depending on what research you look at, upwards of 120 plus days. So this is why a proper management program is really essential to make sure that you've fully recovered before you go back, so we can make sure that you recover adequately. So big thing here, proper management. Symptom-free does not mean issue-free. If you have any questions, contact us at Choice Health Center.